And it's an absolutely cracker of a day. And joining me in commentary, Ben Abbott. How are you going, Ben?
Yeah, very, very well. Thank you, Kerry. It's a pleasure to be here and, yeah, watching these fantastic athletes do their thing.
Japan, a little knuckle shot over the top. Louise Borden taking a bit of time. Louise Grice with her back. We know she's had a slight back injury. She has battled through this tournament. It's not good to see that in the first set. Both these teams have had many matches so far. They actually played each other earlier on in this tournament, and Japan took out that match 2-0. So it looks like Japan are going to be taking on Louise Grice and taking on well with a block.
Yeah, really strong at the net there. Getting the job done, putting that ball down. A good side-out opportunity there, but Japan once again, ball in hand, ready to serve.
Of course, this morning we saw the Australians go through the round of 16 quite nicely. Louise Borden, really good for her team. She didn't look troubled with her back then. Perhaps she's had time to kind of cool down, and now she's had to warm up again. So we hope that she can make it through. Japan looking fighting fit. 2 points apiece. Nice swing cross court.
Yeah, open court there. Great swinging. Just Nama, the blocker, pulling there, potentially looking for a tactical dig. But no, she's putting it into open space. That's point number 3 on the board for the Japanese pairing.
This time going to Jess Namo from Australia. What can she do? She just misses on the sideline, so she's using her aggression early, just missing down the side.
Yeah, trying to establish a bit of confidence there potentially early in this first set, and maybe looking for the block as well there, just to utilise the ball and get the point easy done there.
Giving Japan a free ball now. It takes a lot of time to set up. Beautiful set for Japan, and finds the space. So the first change of ends, Australia, very shaky start, just a bit like our commentary just then.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
surprised.
It won't be long until you see the Australians coming back. Classic Australian fashion. Louise Borden, or Louise Grice, in fact, and Jessica Namo, they will be coming back out in this second end change here.
This morning it was incredibly hot, but it's cooling up a little bit now down there on centre court. Some of those shadows are coming over as the afternoon goes on. That was a beautiful swing from Jess Namo. Trademark across the court.
Yeah, handled that really well there. That ball just drifting outside the antennas. When the ball does go wide outside of those red and white sticks, which is an extension of the sideline on the net there, it often limits the attacking options.
So 5-3 now to Australia. To Japan.
Oh, Japan once again, side-out strength, showing off the muscle there. But that ball in the sand, just over the block there, cheeky pokey skill there, using the open space of the Australian court, extending their lead 6 points, serving 3.
Nice pass, Jess Namo. Can she put it away? Blocked that time from Japan. Was a great set. She's gone for the power. Just taken out. So Japan, big lead again. Timeout called by Australia. We saw them do that early on this morning. They didn't have a great start, so they called a timeout really early, and that just gives them a little bit of time to regroup. And Randy Stoklos has some comments down on the side court. Is it still hot down there, Randy?
Really cooled down quite a bit here. The Japanese are really kind of playing the type of an American game. They're passing the ball straight ahead. A lot of good ball control. They're trying to mix the game up a little bit. And obviously right now they've got a full advantage going on right now. Australia's got to go and turn around this game by putting a little bit more pressure and service and serving to the sidelines and getting the smaller player into trouble and getting them out on the pins where we can be a better blocker and obviously score some points, easy points.
Thanks, Randy Stokes, all the way from America, 5-time world champion. Great to have him here, give us some extra information from the side. But as he said, you know, Japan is so good at defence, aren't they, Ben? We really have to keep them, as an Australian team, we really have to keep them to the sides rather than inside the middle of that court, because they're just going to eat up everything.
Yeah, absolutely. The control of this Japanese pairing is very impressive. That's what the Japanese are known for, is the control in each execution of their skills in the sport of beach volleyball.
Australia in a bit of trouble. Tight set for Jess Namo. And Japan find the sideline this time.
Yeah, once again, Japan using that calm, cool, collected mentality. Nice composed, a bit of a broken volleyball there. But once again, finding the sand on the Australian side of the court. Aussies with a bit of work to do, trailing 8 points to 3.
Another great serve. You hear Lou Borden calling out to a partner. Jess Namo takes it. Gives it a lot of heat, though. But Japan, they're just unanswered at the net. So when they're up there, they're nice and tight. They can still hit the ball down, even though they are the smaller athletes in this set of 4 athletes. But they definitely have the ball control, as you said. And with a 9-3 lead, they're looking pretty good in this first set.
Oh, Japan looking to go to Jess Namo once again. This time not paying it off. Not getting in the way. Easy break point there. Louise Grice, ball in hand. Looking to get the Aussies back into this first set.
Louise Grice with a great diving dig, but unable to get that touch off the block. So Australia switch sides now. They're down 4 points to 10. Japan with a commanding lead in the first set of this women's quarterfinal match. Of course, the winner will go through to the semi-finals tomorrow. And on the outside court at the moment, we have another quarterfinal match going on. So the last 4 teams being decided today on Manly Beach, who will be in the finals of the FIVB World Tour event here in Sydney.
Oh, there it is. Jess Namo getting up high, snapping deep in the back middle of the court. Get a job then. Surely that's a bit of a confidence booster there for the Australians, Kerry.
Yeah, it's good to see them smiling after that point as well and giving each other a bit of a hug and a hand slap. Really enjoying good volleyball. They're going to need a little bit more of that to creep back up to these Japanese players. Really going to start being aggressive, put the ball tight to the net and exploit their height. And there you go, Louise Borden using her strength at the net again.
Right on cue there, Kerry. The aggression coming into play. Louise Borden getting the job done, putting the ball down on the sand. Jess Namo goes back to serve again, closing that gap ever closer. This time 6 points, serving 10.
And a good serve, Jess Namo. That's what Australia need. They need some aggression. They need to really challenge the Japanese girls, challenge their ball control.
Yeah, Jess Namo's got a great float serve. It's a whole different perspective down there at eye level. The amount of movement she gets on that serve is quite impressive and very hard to handle, as you can see. That one's sailing long. Another point on the board for the Aussies.
Sometimes it doesn't even matter what you do on your side of the net. It's just putting that pressure on, and that's what Aussies have done now too, the Japanese girls, putting that pressure on with a tough serve. So, Randy, what's happened in the last few points? Why the turnaround for Australia?
Well, when Japan's up 10-5, all of a sudden I'm wondering when Australia is going to react and really fight back. After Japan beat them early on in this game, or the tournament, I should say, it's really hard to beat a team twice. And obviously Australia is right now in the driver's seat and to put the pressure on the Japanese, and they know that. So the timeout went to the Japanese. Let's see what the Australians are going to come up with next.
Exactly. Holding that momentum. We talk about momentum, Ben. It's something that it's out there in the universe, but what does momentum actually mean? Like, how do you create some momentum on your side of the net?
Oh, it's just a few quality touches and obviously a bit of aggression, and that's what the Aussies thrive off. And some strong serving, and then following that up by some good skill execution can really just change the dynamic of the Australians or any team's mentality for that matter.
Exactly. So Jess Namo with the ball now. Australia 8, trailing Japan 10. And Lou Borden with a great block. That is a point well deserved, Louise.
Yeah, she does a lot of hard work up there on the net. And yeah, that one certainly back in the court, hard to defend when the ball sails high and back deep into the attacking team's court there.
Jess Namo really driving that ball, that serve deep. Japan, Jess Namo with a great touch, but Louise Borden unable to scramble and get that out of the sand. So Australia's touching a lot of the balls from Japan. Japan having to work really hard for their side outs now. So Australia's only really 1 point behind and way still in this game. Of course, as we said, that Japan have beaten Australia earlier on in this tournament. Australia still in this point, another chance. Great defense, Japan. And again, see if Lou Borden can finish this off. Yes, she does down the line. So a few hard hits, aggression off the top of the block, and it takes a shot, a nice executed shot down the line. As the players sit down for a technical timeout. And Randy Stokely, if you were now either Australia or Japan, what would you do to take a bit of an advantage now in this first set?
Well, Kerry, I think it's just right on cue, my notes of them being more aggressive. Australia's fought back now and got really back into this game. Ultimately, after this timeout or this little break that they have, this is the most important part of the game, the middle of the game. If they can continue to put the pressure on the right side, I think they have figured it out. Let's see if the pressure continues.
Yeah, exactly. It really is a game of cat and mouse sometimes, this match, where you really have to focus on perhaps serving one player over and over again, but as soon as that player gets into a bit of rhythm, it's a good idea to switch and serve on the other player and see if you can push an error out of them or get a dig. So right now, there's nothing in it this first set. Australia down by 1, but 1 point's not much, especially when you've got Lou going back to have a serve. She's got a great jump float serve. She's also used a jump top spin serve in the past. Looks like she's going with a floater, and then she'll play defense.
Oh, that one just sneaking through there. Japanese once again showing their strong side out. Louise Borden almost getting a touch there. We were speaking about momentum earlier there, Kerry. Even just a positive touch in defense can really help the team as the set and the match goes on.
Trouble for Australia. Looking over her shoulder. What a hit!
Oh, handled so well.
That is so hard. She makes it look so easy, but as a left-hander, taking it on the left side of the court, she has to follow that ball over to her left shoulder and still being able to swing so hard. So right now, it doesn't look like her back's troubling her at all. Australia's still trailing by 1 point, 11 serving 12.
Oh, you see again, Jess Namo, full stretch there. Getting that positive touch, not quite reaching. Louise Borden again, pulling up a little bit tender. Maybe the back is playing a few issues there. But
it seems to be when she goes down for one of those defensive plays that's really bothering her. So she's almost kind of either hyperextending or, stretching out of the back. Let's hope she's okay. But right now, Australia only 1 point in it. And one good thing that Australia are doing, and that's touching everything, like you said before, that Japan are putting over the net. So Japan having to work really hard, and that's got to get in your head. And eventually one of those touches is going to make a point.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw a key example of that just then. Japan serving it into the net. And obviously feeling the pressure of the Australians right now to try and get a ball on the sand to execute a point. Once again there, Japanese not sure where to go there. Louise Borden pulling on that play, paying off. Evens the score up 13 points apiece. Using all of her experience, 3-time Olympian.
Yeah, indoor in 2000. While I was on the beach, Louise was on the indoor courts, and she's still going 17 years later and playing at the best of her career. Beautiful swing, Japan, straight through the middle. Probably the blocker's ball on that occasion. Jess Namo having to cover a lot of court. couldn't lay down and reach that one. So Japan again with a point lead. Can they hold on to it? And there it is. They make another one that time. Another tough serve. That corner, Jess Namo is really having trouble with that high, deep corner serve. So Japan have really exploited that on her. They will go back to Louise every now and again, but definitely Jess Namo is the one that they're after, the one that they want to play defence against.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe targeting the younger of the two out there in the Australian pairing. And yeah, you find in any level of the sport, serving one player or targeting one player can often overload them and play a bit of havoc on the mentality of the individual on the court.
Another trouble dig, another great serve from Japan. It looks so easy from here, but it's such a flat float serve. It moves so much, and you think it's on your arms, and all of a sudden it dives to the left or the right, and it's coming off one arm and pinging to the side. So that's a nice break for Japan now over Australia. Australia need to focus here on this pass or let it go out.
Yeah, 3 point there. The Australians will be loving that. Bit of time to potentially compose themselves, get themselves sorted. And look to another point on the board and hang tough late in this first set.
See if one of Jess's flat float serves can do the same thing. No, that one floating out. So although float is good, sometimes it goes in the wrong direction. That is out.
Yeah, it catches those little heat pockets in the air, and that one, unfortunately, not doing the job that Jess wanted.
Much better controlled pass for Jess Namo. Goes behind. Nice touch, Japan in defence. Bored with the second play, though. She's so good at doing that 360 and turning and just snapping on that ball to the left or the right. That's experience right there. She's probably done that 100, 300, 500 times.
Yeah, a little mid-air pirouette. And those dance lessons that she took in her younger days obviously paying off.
So Australia trailing 15 to Japan 17. Looking for a point here as we're near the end of the first set. Could be here. And Jess Namo takes that, drives it into the corner. So that almost equals the score. So one more for Australia to match it up with Japan.
Yeah, great placement there by Jess Namo. The back corner of the court. Absolutely nailing it.
Nicely controlled by Japan. They've got a full court to play with, and they find the gap down the line. So Japan now 18-16. These last few points of this set are really going to determine who's most focused, who's going to take it out. It's still anybody's set. Great pass by Jess. Tight set. She's able to knuckle it over. Japan have the whole court to play with again, and they take it hard this time to the line. So Japan drive a winner to the sideline on Liu. They switch over at 19-16 up.
Yeah, the Aussies a little bit tense even there. The execution skill play there. The Japanese jumping on the opportunity, extending that lead and itching ever closer to this first set win. Japanese going after Jess Namo again, handling it well. Blue puts up nice and high. Oh, but the Japanese blocker all over that one. Brings up set point number 1 for the Japanese pairing. A 4-point lead. Aussies with a bit of work to do. Potentially looking for a bit of momentum. They can't quite close the gap in this set, but looking for momentum to go into the second set of the match.
Absolutely. And that one's not going to help Japan. Their serving is just too tough. So they take the first set of this women's quarterfinal, 21-16 over Australia, as the Australians sit down and regroup and think, okay, how can we get back in this match? The do-or-die match. The winner will go through to the semi-finals tomorrow, and the loser, of course, is out of the tournament. So, Randy, what would you be thinking if you were coaching Australia right now? And I know that you're standing pretty close to the players, but what would you be thinking? What would you be telling them to do and come out to do in this second set? What
I would say to them is they got to get off to a better start. We went down, I think, 10-5 in that first game. They fought back very hard to go up 11-10. Then in the middle of that match, all of a sudden gave up. They actually went up even if a couple more points, but then Japan fought back. made the bigger difference. And it all was starting in the very beginning of the game. Got to get off to a really good start. This is do or die, and you got to have some want, you got to have some passion, and you got to have some love to try to go and win this game. All important game for the Australians right now. Do or die time.
Exactly, Randy. And my coach used to tell me, and I've said this many times, I think, that when you come out, you've got to push at the beginning. Most teams will come back, just like Australia came back with Japan then, and they hold them in the middle, and then you've got to push at the end to finish it off. So if Australia can come out here in this second set, push a little bit at the beginning, get a bit of a lead, and then hold on to that, we could be going to a third set. But let's not jinx anybody just yet. Let's see what happens, but it's all right for the taking. The trouble there. Maria Fay on her knees, but still able to control that with a knuckle. Oh, off Louise's block, so nicely played by Japan, saving that. And take the first point of the second set.
1-0 to start this second set.
You can see the shadows now coming over one side of the court. Those are from the pine trees on the boardwalk here at Manly Beach.
That was a great back set there by Louise Grice. Putting that ball in a great spot, Jess utilising the block, swinging high and hard off their hands. Brings up their first point of the second set. And a great aggressive start there for the Aussies, which is something we spoke about last set and Randy was mentioning in between sets there. So looking forward to seeing if that continues. Louise Grice, ball in hand.
Chance for the Aussies for another point here. Nicely blocked again by Japan, so Australia having to work hard in the side out. Louise looks like she's again struggling there, taking her time to get up, but as soon as she regroups, she just gets back in and she plays like there's nothing wrong with her. So really toughing it out there. Japan goes short on Louise, which is really troubling her. And they make another point. So 3-1 now. Japan jumping out. Small lead in Australia. Looks like they've called a timeout. And just as you said, Randy, down there on the court side, Japan this time have decided to jump out to the lead. Looks like Randy has lost comms on court side. Randy Stokely.
Japanese got off to a really good start right there. Louise Borton had a good opportunity for a point opportunity. Didn't get really a great opportunity with their approach. Got stuck at the net, got blocked right there. Then all of a sudden the Japanese come to a little short serve, put a little pressure on her. Again, it's up to the Australians to fight back at this one moment.
Yeah, the Australians definitely have a fight against them. The Japanese are looking quite solid. Australia's just very up and down. They have their runs and then they just drop too many points in a row. Then they get back and fight back. But right now, Japan has just been very consistent. And they're looking like they are targeting Louise now, seeing if that injury is going to bother her. Beautiful dig off a very hard hit. Louise will get a second opportunity. And she takes it, so she doesn't show there's anything wrong with her at this point. Through the rallies, Louise Borton, she's just gritting it out.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier, maybe some certain movements affecting or niggling the back there, but she's hanging tough, showing the experience and the composure. Put that ball in sand. Oh, that's a great shot there. Felt like Jess was in a great position there defensively, but that ball just inside the sideline. The Japanese using every inch of this court, Kerry.
They're so good at that. They're so well drilled. They go through junior school, high school, club team, and they just do repetition after repetition in their volleyball careers. And there they are again with a great dig, but Australia have an opportunity. Louise deep, and she makes the point. So Australia 3-7 on this switch. They're still down a point, but they're hanging in there. As the girls take their time to move to the other side of the court, so the teams will switch every 7 points just to make sure they take advantage or disadvantage of the conditions, whether it's the wind or the sun. In this case, the shadows that are now coming over the court. We saw just then the sun went behind a cloud and all of a sudden got quite dark. So conditions are either sunglasses on, sunglasses off. Nicely played down the line for Japan.
Yeah, they've done that a couple of times there, Kerry. Sneaking the ball just down the line, just past the block. But obviously finding that gap well and consistently. Japanese hanging tough. Looking to finish off this quarterfinal match.
Going back to Jess Namo, Louise with a beautiful hand set and a nice drive to the sideline. So Australia with a classic side out. Still trailing by 1.4 points, Australia serving 5.
Yeah, great aggressive swing there by Jess Namo. Looking to lead from the front and keep that aggressive mentality the Australians thrive off. Great strong serve there.
They're so good at seeing the play, the Japanese. They keep the ball in front of them. So even though it goes up high in the air, they still can feel that whether that blocker is there or not. As soon as you pull off, they will drive it straight at you. Beautiful play, Japan. 6 serving 4. Louise points down. That's the one. That's the one she's been after. Dig it up to Jess Namo. Let her do all the work. She can put that one away for a winner.
Oh, Jess Namo scrambling hard there. Getting a touch, but not in the right direction, unfortunately. Kerry, I feel like the Australians are serving quite well, the Japanese just handling it. They're just putting a ball on the spot and using that composure and skill execution to just find the court on every point.
It's not easy to get the ball down against a Japanese team. They're renowned all over the globe for their defensive brilliance, indoor volleyball and beach volleyball. So you have to really risk the lines when you're playing against the Japanese, and also when you're attacking against them, you have to risk setting the ball really tight to the net so you can get up there and have a good whack at the ball or place it nicely. But right now, Japan have the ball in hand. They have the game in hand. Nice swing, Jess Namo, way off the net. But this time, Japan put it on the net. Oh, a little bit of luck there. Hits the top of the net and just bounces over in front of Jess Namo. So not even luck going Australia's way right now as they switch sides. Japan leading 1-0, but now also in the second set, 9 points to 5.
Yeah, similar circumstances to the first set there, Kerry, where the Australians struggled a little bit early and fought back midway through this, the set.
It's always tough to do that, though, isn't it? When you are behind. And there's another great serve from Japan. So they're really working that corner hard. It's been a bit of a trouble for Jess earlier on in this tournament as well, seeing that ball fly up high to her left shoulder in that corner. So Japan really playing that well, or through the middle of both of the players. Again, same spot. Nice pass. This time dug beautifully by Japan, following her partner all the way and trying to do a left-handed forearm tennis shot over the net. Couldn't quite get it, but even to be on that play from Louise Borden, from hitting that ball on 2 and just getting underneath it from Japan, great defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Scrambling hard, and even though the lead is there, they're scrambling for every point, and they know how important each point is in this tournament.
And that ball just floating way out, so Jess Namo just putting quite a bit of heat on those float serves, just a bit too much. Looking for something. Now looking to have to side out again against Japan. The ball comes to her again. Borden up. Blocked again this time by Japan. So Japan are either digging that second play or blocking that second play. They've worked it out quite well. Now leading 12-6.
Yeah, either way, the Japanese reading it quite well and just all over it. The Aussies need to find another way, another avenue to try and get some points on the board.
And that will do. Jessica's trademark hit across her body to the left side of the court. Gives her a winner this time. Australia, Louise goes back to serve, 7 points to 12. So something needed here from Australia to get themselves back in this match. They're down 1 set. They've had a short serve, just misses. So Australia not even helping themselves out with some serving into the court right now. Just takes the pressure off Japan and they can just play whatever they want to do.
Yeah, it gets to a point where you find yourself in a bit of a rut and you need to find avenues out of there. And unfortunately, sometimes it's just a matter of making the opposition play. And like you say, Kerry, Australians not really doing it. As we see Jess banging that ball cross court, across her body. Takes us to the first, the only technical timeout of the second set here. Japan leading 13 points to 8. Randy, this midway through the second set, what do the Aussies need to do to try and get themselves back in the match?
I don't know really what they need to do, but the Japanese are really putting the pressure on the Australians right now. You know, from the all tournament long, I see the Japanese out here practicing early in the morning. Even if they have a match, they're honing their skills. They're putting a lot of pressure on the Australians right now. I really don't have an answer for the Australians. They need to go and really have some soul searching and look real deep to try to come back and win this match.
Exactly, Randy. I think you put, again, the nail on the head on the nail, whatever it's called. The Japanese, they're just too solid right now. Their touch on the ball is too good. Australia's, they've got it there every few points, 3 out of 5 points, but 3 out of 5 points is not good enough, while Japan's just too consistent.
Yeah, we see little aspects of the Australian game creeping in. It's just not finding the consistency at the moment to get the job done here in the second set. Jess Namo, once again, ball in hand serving, and again, just long. We spoke about it earlier, Kerry, the Aussies not doing themselves any favours. They just need to make the Japanese play and see if they can sort out a way while playing the game. But, 14 points to 8. Japan looking to close out the second set and the match.
That's a good pass, and this time, where did the ball go? Did it go down on Louise's side? Yes, it did. So Japan, again, another easy play there, just blocking that second hit. Brings up another point for Japan. Australia just needing to control this first touch. That's a better dig for Jess. And takes it nice and easy, just finds the sand. So there's a good point. Now they need to consolidate and make some tough serves here.
That's right. Jess looking at the defender's spot there and just picking the gap. I think he can back it up with a block here. Nice serve by Lou Borden. Oh, fully stretched, not quite getting underneath it. Settled the play nicely. Jess Namo's putting a nice block up there, channeling the ball to the defender. Just out of reach there for Lou Borden.
So Japan looking pretty confident here. They've got themselves a 7-point lead. All they need to do is stay consistent to finish this off. Australia need to do something special, and that's not going to happen. But Japan with the blocks, you don't see that very often when you're playing against Japan. Blocking the ball, great timing. Even though the Japanese ladies aren't as tall as the Australians, the timing on the block is so crucial.
Oh, absolutely, Kerry. Timing is everything for the shorter players. They can definitely hold their own out there on the sand. Unfortunately, not being able to back it up with a serve there. Giving the point, giving the Australians point number 10. 7-point deficit. Just not a ball in hand. Hopefully, a bit of pressure on the Japanese this one.
Nice turn, Louise. They get another shot, and she goes with power. So beautiful pass, beautiful hit. She still looks a little bit uncomfortable. I would say a lot uncomfortable, but she is gritting it out. The Japanese are still serving Jess Namo, even though Louise is looking quite pained. But Australia still trailing 10-17. Never say never. 11-17 now.
The game of volleyball is ever changing. Hopefully the classic Australian fight comes into play. Jess Namo. Bit of pressure on the serve, hopefully. Oh, just trickling the net. Japanese handle it well. And utilising the Louise Borden block, putting the ball on the sand. Point number 18 coming up for Japan. 3 points away from the match. We're not going to see the Australians disappear, are we, Kerry?
No, they won't disappear. But Japan be hard to beat from here on in. That's a nice pass. And again blocked. So really watching the play from Louise at the net on that second ball. Unbelievable control on the block. 19 points serving 11. So really crushing Australia's hopes right here of getting into the semi-finals. We already have one Australian in the semi-final. And a beautiful serve from Japan deep to the corner. So that brings up match point now. Japan versus Australia, women's quarterfinal. The World Tour here on Manly Beach in Sydney. And Japan make it through to their first semi-final. Nice pass, Louise Borden. Blocked again, so Japan make it through. Unfortunately over the Aussies, but Japan make it through to the semi-final. 2-0. So well played, so consistent. Unfortunately, Louise Grice, Jessica Namo, they are out of this competition. Louise struggled all through. Brave effort from the Aussies. Thanking the crowd. Wonderful crowd here on a Saturday afternoon. Japan's so happy.
Yeah, the Japanese could do no wrong in that whole match. Taking it out 2-0 here at the FIVB World Tour event in Sydney. Plenty more action coming your way. Looks like there's a net change happening. And then we're bringing out the big boys. Men stepping on the court, centre court. Beautiful Manly Beach.
We have some men's medals to give away this afternoon, Ben, but right now the Japanese, they are absolutely loving it. They're into their semi-final, thanking their coaches. We're going to go down courtside and see what's happening down there. But before we go down courtside, we're going to go to a break. We'll be back shortly with some more beach volleyball action here at Manly Beach.
Sydney, surrounded by pristine national parks, riverways, stunning water views, iconic beaches, and coastal walks from the north to the south, all with the beautiful harbour at its heart. You'll love every second of Sydney. Discover more at sydney.com.